Hi, this is Pamela Worth with the Encourage Your Wellness podcast. And today I have Bershan Shaw. She is the CEO of an international warrior coach training and motivational speaking program. And Bershan, your background and your bio is so long, I'm not even touching like 1% of what all is going on here. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit about your background, how you've gotten to where you are, some of the things that were really pivotal, and sort of some of the things that you're doing now to help so many people.
Oh, wow, it's a journey. Yeah, so I guess 15 years ago, I got diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. Um, and then 2 years later, it was stage 4. The cancer had spread all over my body, into my bones, all over, and it shook me. It really, hearing you have stage 4 cancer and a doctor telling you that you have terminal cancer and there's not a cure really shakes you up mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. I mean, that just wasn't my journey. I just couldn't believe it. And I remember getting on my knees when I heard the news, and I just got on my knees and I prayed and I said, God, is this my journey? This can't be my journey. But if you keep me alive, I will motivate and inspire people all over the world. Just keep me alive. And I think that took off on the journey of me becoming who I am as the warrior coach, of someone who was passionate about living. It was like passionate about living, right? When you get told you have stage 4 cancer, it's like you're going to live or you're going to die. Which one are you going to choose? I chose to live. And the journey began when I heard it, because I remember so clearly the doctor said, "Do you believe in miracles?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I believe in miracles. Hell yeah." And something just said, "Yeah, I believe in miracles, and I'll see you in 10 years." And it's been 15 years. And I think this journey, you know, things like this, they say cancer wakes you up. I think it woke me up in a big way to start living, to start activating, to start doing, to start supporting, everything. It activated me.
Okay, so that's a huge one to digest. When you're going through this process, it's not only a physical game, but a hugely mental game. What are some of the things that really helped you stay focused? I mean, I've had diagnoses. Thankfully, it didn't go the route that they told me it was to begin with. And then I've helped others with serious diagnoses. I've helped my mom with her stage 4 cancer. And I find that when you're in the middle of this, you can't necessarily think straight. So who did you lean on? How did you get your brain on, because it's not, it's hard.
Yeah, it really is hard. Who did I lean on? God. It got my faith stronger. It was lean on God, right? We talk about faith a lot, but do we really follow through? It's fear of faith. They don't operate out of the same plate. So faith is something that is you really have to lean on. And then my friends, but it was the one time, it's a mental game, right? It's a really strong mental game. And I'm not going to say, like, I just realized that I had to be strong and show up for myself.
How did you
You know
do
how they
that?
say you got to show up. Like,
Was there like a
and I
certain
think,
routine that you did for yourself or a certain meditation or a certain
oh, yeah.
I mean, what did you do?
Yeah. So every morning, wake up, meditate, listen to something positive, put my candles on, put my sage on, and really, really, really get into myself. I would write down positive affirmations. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. My body is healthy. Every bone in my body is healthy. Like, it really is a mind game. And so I think it really transformed to my business, to my success, to who I am, because it's a mind game. I tell people when I coach large organizations or companies, giving up is easy. It's the easy thing. Oh, let me stop and just give up. It's easy. Pushing through is hard.
Mhm.
It's hard, and so it's a mind game. It's a mental thing.
When you're helping people through this and you're coaching, do you have a certain set of steps that you follow? Do you find it's more flexible based on the group? Is there a certain workbook you're working people through or a certain framework or because you hear people doing different things. Sometimes it's kind of more cookie cutter, sometimes it's, really flexible based on who's in the audience. What do you find has kind of worked for you?
Yeah, so um I have a method called the You Are a Warrior method.
Mhm.
And it's personal development, self-improvement, motivation, and support. So everybody goes through my method, right? So think about it. Personal development is developing yourself personally. Self-improvement is improving yourself. Motivation is motivating yourself, or where do you go to get motivated, or how do you stay motivated? You have to have a regimen or a system, and support, which is community, which is whatever you need to help you get by. Those are my four pillars of life to help. So even if you're in a work environment or whatever, think about it. No matter what you do, cancer is just a dis-ease. I always say, what is the cancer that's holding you back? And so if you, even in a job sense, personal development, and if you have self-improvement and you have motivation and support, you heal, you become happier, you become healthier.
Yeah. And you can't just kind of do things on January 1st and hope for it to work out the best. I mean, what is your kind of follow up and your cadence of when do you kind of stop and take a look at yourself in the mirror or write it down? And I mean, so like for me, sometimes I do it daily and then sometimes I fall out of a rhythm and then it's weekly. And I mean, do you have like a something that really helps you stay on track that reminds you?
Yeah, good point. It's a good one. I try to get up every morning and I meditate or read, like meditate or read or do something positive. It's a regimen. Like I
Mhm.
have to start my day with something, or you just wake up and you're groggy and you're tired and you get up and like get up with a smile. Get up and say, I'm alive. Get up and say, I made it another day. Get up and say, I did this. Like you gotta tell yourself that, or you're going on and you're just surviving. You're not thriving.
That's true. I got to circle back for a second because I know people are going to want to know. When you were going through the cancer treatments, did you do anything outside of the regular radiation, chemo,
Oh
surgery?
yeah. Yes, 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 yes. I did everything. Let me tell you, Pamela, I did everything. I did right. I changed my diet. I no longer eat meat.
Mhm.
I exercise. I did Reiki. I did green juices, mushrooms. Like you have to take control of your health. You cannot put your health in someone else's hands.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I tell people this, like, it's not just Western doctors, it's Eastern doctors. It's exercising, it's eating well, it's a regiment.
Yeah. I think a lot of these diagnoses are a sign that your body's totally out of whack. And the question is, what's it going to take to get it back in to where it needs to be? And, I think we're still learning a lot about what that means in terms of energy, in terms of nutrition, in terms of past things that have happened to us, kind of going back to the Reiki. And, um, I think there's really cool things that we're still learning about in different modalities. So I love that.
Yeah, so I think when something like this, it's like do everything. Reiki, I mean exercise, like I didn't know. And so my doctors always say I'm the poster child because they were like, you did everything. One thing I can say is, Bershan, you did everything. I did, and I still do today.
So do you find you're mostly vegan now? Or maybe
You
you
know,
just,
I was vegan for like 14 years. I do a little fish.
Mhm.
Just for my hair and stuff like that. I do a little fish to help me out. But yes, I haven't had meat in 15 years.
Yeah. And then supplementation is kind of tricky too, because sometimes some doctors will say it helps cancer cells grow, and sometimes they say it doesn't. Your body needs the nutrition. I mean, what sort of supplements have you found are helpful or ones that you kind of went against the grain and went ahead and took them anyway?
Oh, yeah, I think I went against the grain with everything. During chemo, they were like, "Don't juice," and I juiced every day.
Hmm.
I juiced every day. I ate something healthy every day. And here's the thing: I cannot, in my mind, believe that you want your body to not have nutrients while you're going through chemo.
Yeah.
It doesn't make logical sense to me. I wanted to stay as healthy as I could. So I juiced, I still do. I do vitamin D, I do turmeric,
Mhm.
I do everything. I do garlic, I do everything, elderberry. I do everything, I do things to keep my body strong.
What about like a vegan omega or something? I know a lot of people don't like fish omegas, but there's something to be said about the inflammatory. Do you do any algae or anything like that? Or
I do spirulina, I do chlorophyll. Yep, I do it. I
yeah,
do those too.
that's
Yes, they're
awesome.
very important.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Um,
We are
okay,
on the same page. We are on the same page, Pamela. Yes.
okay.
I
So back to coaching, and you've been on television shows. And what are some of your favorite ways of being with people, helping people? Um,
yeah.
what really gets you jazzed?
It's so funny. So I was on these shows as a coach, and now people say I'm an actress. I'm far from an actress, but it's like they got millions of hits. So, somebody says you're an actress and it gets 40 million views. And I'm like, I'm not an actress, but okay. But coaching people.
Mhm.
I honestly I get hundreds of DMs and emails and calls a day.
Wow.
Right? What do I do? How do I stay healthy? All of that. I get it all the time. It's so important to me. So
So,
reaching out to people, huh?
do you have like an automated thing or a class or a course, or like how are you able to help so many people? It's because it's impossible if you're getting that much outreach.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I have free audibles, I have free recipes, and then I mean, we have a team. I have a
Yeah.
huge team of coaching, and that's what I love. I do love giving back. I love that. I
Any
do.
particular age range that you like more than another, or men, women, skill set?
I gotta tell you, I'm a woman's gal. I'm a girl's girl. I love women, but it's because we're the underdog in life.
Mhm.
You know that. I mean, like I love coaching women and helping them get their mindset and helping them. I go to companies all around the country, helping them gaining focus, clarity. It just means the world to me. So age range probably 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah. Yeah. Mature enough to handle feedback.
Yes, exactly. Mature enough to handle feedback, right? Because
uh,
it's not personal. It's like you got to get it together.
yeah. Isn't that the truth? Um,
Or powerful.
mhm.
It's so powerful. So tell me about encouraging wellness.
Yeah, thanks. It's I started gosh. So the Encouraging Wellness podcast, it's really important to me to have really cool healing stories, such as your own, and doctors with really cool ways of healing people and different modalities. And so the way I kind of got into this was I've got two healthy teenage boys now, but one of them was misdiagnosed with OCD, Tourette's, anxiety, depression, autism, and he was regressing so quickly. I was told I have to take care of him the rest of his life. And I thought, no, there's got to be another way. I mean, I've started and run companies. Like I know there's always a solution to a problem. We're not going to take this at face value. And so I just kept going to doctor after doctor after doctor, and finally found one who was originally from the Philippines, educated at UCLA. Doctor says, "Hey, let's pull some blood work and find out what's going on inside." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know why nobody else has suggested this. It actually makes sense to me." Blood
Mhm.
work showed that he was low in vitamin D3, B12, genetic marker MTHFR, which means that he doesn't detox properly or absorb his vitamins and minerals. If he has any folic acid in his body, he needs methylfolate. Pretty simple solution. Just remove folic acid processed foods and add methylfolate, which costs like $9 a month from your local food store. And he had CMV, which is a common virus, flu like symptoms, not a big deal. And he had high strep titers, even though he was negative for strep throat. So that was kind of new news to me. You could have an active strep infection, even though it's not presenting in the throat. And the doctor says, all of these things made the immune system just basically stop working. The infection has crossed the blood-brain barrier and is now causing motor, vocal, and mood problems. I said, okay, now what? Doctor says, you know what? Totally reversible. You're going to have to give me about a year. We have to fix his gut. And I said, well, it's like 11 years ago at this point. I don't know what that means, but sure, let's give it a go. And doctor says, look, we need 2 organic prebiotics in his gut, 15 different probiotics on a daily basis. And then you're going to remove gluten and sugar because that feeds a bad gut. And I said, okay. And started on this journey. Oh, and then we treated the infection. So sure enough, about a year later, he popped back, hasn't left us since. He's a straight A student, elite athlete. So that's been an awesome journey.
Wow.
And he taught me a lot about how, 1 in every 5 people has an autoimmune disorder. I don't know that we all have autoimmune disorders, except that maybe we're not really looking into why our body's inflamed. And the same thing with autism. I don't know that 1 in every 35 has an autism spectrum disorder. I think maybe we're just not looking at everything 100%. I know that's highly controversial and wild to say, but it's kind of the
Oh.
research is showing that.
Was that a special doctor or a regular doctor?
MD neurologist, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
I know,
Okay.
super cool. And this doctor taught me how to make supplements at home, taught me about, certain herbs and how powerful they are in crossing the blood-brain barrier. And super cool doctor. So I ended up writing a book along with other doctors and families, and then launching the podcast, launching the supplement company, and then soon want to get into helping people through more coaching. And I recently became a certified health coach, so I can actually have some legit behind that. So that's kind of fun. And then what's also been really interesting is my mom was diagnosed with kidney cancer about 20 years ago.
Mhm.
And then that went away. And then she was diagnosed about 6 years ago with stage 4 ovarian cancer. And then 18 months ago with stage 2 breast cancer.
Wow.
And she's supposed to have been dead a long time ago. But she's gone through the 18 chemotherapies, 2 radiations. Last year, we went to a large, well, internationally renowned medical institution. I won't trash, but they said, hey, it's time to plan for the end. And she looks at me and she goes, I don't know what to do. I don't want to plan for the end. And I was like, all right, well, let me look into all this. So she starts, writing positive things, reading positive books, disassociating herself with negative people. Started taking her down to Mexico to do stem cells, natural cancer killing cells.
Which place? Which place?
So we started first at biomedical, and then she needed a more amped up version. And the amped up version, so we ended up at Oasis of Hope. And the amped up version was that they actually did a PET scan. So this internationally known medical institution said, hey, the cancer's in her blood and in her brain and in her bones. And I was like, well, can you show me the scan? Well, we don't need to show you a scan. I was like, yeah, no, you do. I want the proof. Well, they wouldn't do it. They said Medicare wouldn't pay for it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, a bunch of rubbish. So the hospital in TVOne says, hey, for $1,500, we'll order you a PET scan. You just need to take it in San Diego. All right, cool. It's still in the US. I'm cool with that. Gets the PET scan, comes back. There's only 5 tumors in her abdomen. It's only ovarian. The breast hasn't come back. Kidney's not back. It's just that one. I said, okay, cool. So then they surgically removed with margins one of the tumors and then took it into the lab and combined it with her super T cells to teach the body to kill that type of tumor. And so far, so good. Knock on.
Oasis of Hope did that.
Yep. It's awesome.
So it's like immunotherapy, which they did.
Yes. But what I found is there's all different kinds of immunotherapy. Like just one immunotherapy is not the same as another.
Yeah, it's not.
So,
Wow.
yes.
Wow. And so what do you have her on in terms of supplements and vitamins and stuff?
Yeah, so they have her on a number of things, and then I continue to keep her on things that are anti-inflammatory in nature. Um, right now, she's on a vegan plus meat once or twice a week plus fish,
Yeah.
once in a while, and so because this has been kind of a big change for her, just basically going from whatever to well, she was keto, and then now I'm like, okay, so they really want her on 100% vegan, and she's like, I feel terrible on 100% vegan. And I said, so, okay, so can we, kind of meet in the middle and she can have, meat or fish, once or twice a week. And so that seems to be working for her. She looks forward to those.
Oh, I love it. You don't have her on any supplements, any vitamins?
I have her on the prebiotics, probiotics, making sure her gut's clear, making sure that, the turmeric, oregano, olive leaf extract, um, cinnamon, garlic, omegas.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, good, good. That's good. Yeah. It sounds promising. It sounds good.
Yeah, and what's been really fun is every time I go down there, I meet new people that are going through super, super cool healing stories. Like there was a gal that had brain cancer, and the tumors were you could feel them on the top of her head, and then within 3 weeks they were gone. So it's just amazing what can be done.
And
Even
these are they, I mean, knock on wood, I pray they're still surviving. They're still
yeah, yeah,
alive.
oh yeah, 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 they're cool.
And this is just them doing immunotherapy and all of the different things they do.
Yeah, they also did like the one where they heat your body up and then they cool it down. So the hyperthermia. Um, ozone IVs, which I think are pretty cool, where they're pulling out some blood and then running it through ultraviolet light, and ozone gas and putting it back in, which helps your body just kind of refocus on what's really important and not on the little widdly diddly
All
stuff.
of this stuff is so good. I
It's
know.
amazing.
I just wish it's expensive, right? Isn't
It's
this
so
expensive?
expensive. It's so much cheaper in Tijuana than it is up here. So most of the stuff, we're able to get up here in the States, but it costs like 4 or 5x. Um, for her to be down there for a month was 35,000, which is still a large number. But to put it in perspective, Medicare pays this internationally known medical institution $55,000 every time she got chemotherapy, and she got 18 of those. So I mean,
Yeah,
if you're thinking about the system, maybe we could think about changing the system a little bit.
it's true. Oh, God, it's so true. It's
But
so true. I feel so bad with people who don't have the funds because it's just hard to navigate.
or you're too clouded and freaked out, or you don't know.
Hmm.
I
You
mean, I
don't
thought
know.
this whole thing was crazy, and she thought it was crazy until she gets told that's it, and she's like, "All right, well, what the heck do I have to lose?" And I said, "Okay, sure, let's do it."
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But you
Good.
shouldn't have to get to the point where you feel like there's nothing else to lose before you go and do that. So,
True. Oh, what a beautiful story.
yes,
Yes, we have a lot in common.
yes. So, when people are thinking about hiring you, how do they find you? What do you like to do the most?
Um, I love to coach companies, retreats. You know, what I really love to do is change mindsets.
Hmm.
I think uh, most of the people are stuck in the world. Most people are stuck.
Hmm.
They're stuck doing things the same old way, the way they are. They're comfortable. I help people get uncomfortable
Now,
because that's how you reach your goals, success, happier, healthier life.
yeah, I mean, you've got so much that you touch on too when it comes to diversity and law. What is your background like educational wise?
Yeah. I went to Syracuse undergraduate. And I was president of the university, so I've always been like a leader. So I was a communications major, and then I went to NYU in business and communications
Okay.
masters, right? So everything with me has always been communicating and business. And I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah, it's fun to create and grow.
Yeah.
When you're working through dysfunctional teams and resolving conflict, I always find it's kind of an interesting dilemma between being 100% transparent and being careful about making someone feel embarrassed or excluded. Or what do you do to kind of raise that to the top for discussion without anyone feeling put out? Or you know
Yeah.
if someone's challenging, it also can be kind of a benefit too, but it has to be done super careful.
When first of all, I make it a safe space for people to share, right? And so that is the number one thing. Like I tell everyone, all right, let's sit down. Let's take the ego out. Let's take the bravado out. Let's take the sizing someone else out. I'm better than him. He like, I'm smart. Like, let's take all of that out.
Mhm.
Let's really talk. Let's have a 360 talk. Because this talk is here to help. and heal, and let's move forward in a positive way. Right. And so when you take those things out, it's so funny. I remember I was coaching a woman. She's very high up in a top hotelier brand, really, really top. Like the next position, she really could be CEO. She never thought she could be CEO because it was a mindset. She always thought no one liked her, but she was holding herself back. So we always have these notions like this person doesn't like me. They don't think I'm good enough. But I said, change it. What if you asked? What if you really were wrong?
Mhm.
And so she thought the two top people didn't like her because they weren't connecting. And when I told her to ask, it was someone's birthday. I said, you know what? Buy him a book. He likes golf. And he always talks about Jack Welch. Buy him a book. Buy him that book, maybe a golf ball, just like for a nice gesture. No, he won't accept it. Little did she know she was wrong. He was like, I thought you were always avoiding me and never want. You see how we get it wrong?
Mhm.
Because we are in our heads and always judging.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with teams. Someone saying this about a team, someone saying that, someone saying, you don't know what someone's gone through. They missed a meeting or they didn't do this, but someone's mom died.
Mhm.
Someone's daughter is on substance abuse. Someone you don't know.
That's true. You know, in business too, I think there's a lot of frameworks for creating operational efficiencies, but I don't really know that there's any that do that well in addition to culture and communication and fostering togetherness. I mean, have you found, a lot of people are into EOS or scaling up. I mean, have you found any that are really good at that, or do you find you kind of have to really be aware and force that into some of these methodologies?
Yeah, I find that I have to force it in. Like when I come in, I have to, right? Because I think now it's a different world now. We're not in the 80s and the 90s where your boss tells you what to do and you do it and you shut up. Like, that's the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. We're into culture and communication because people quit, in a heartbeat, or, it goes viral. It's a horrible play. I mean, there's a million different things. I think now it's all about the culture and it's about the communication. And if you don't set that well, you lose.
And how often do you feel like someone at the CEO level has to make sure that the culture is being followed, the values are being followed? I mean, is this, it's much more than just an annual town hall, I think. I mean, do you have some leaders you find do it better than others? And
Yes, it's very important. And the leaders that do it better are the ones that really care and really do it. And that's when, I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Like the ones that don't, I get called in, and it starts from the top down. And like, if you don't care about it, you lose people. People aren't productive. You don't have the bottom lines. You don't have a good environment. There's bad apples. People don't care. I mean, you know it, you see it. I see it in my company all unless, and that's why I have a system. I do regiments with my teams all the time. We're having a big in-person meeting this weekend.
Mhm.
Team building, all of that. It's very important.
How often do you like doing a skip level where are not only talking to your direct report, but maybe going down a level just to make sure that they feel heard?
All the
Or do you
time.
like more of like an open communication style?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's a different environment. We are in different times. We're not in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you'll miss out big time.
Yeah.
You got to have people hurt. It's so, I read this about Louis Vuitton. When Louis Vuitton, LVMH started making a huge profit is when the CEO started going down to the mailman,
Mm.
right? And like, what's his name? Chanel, not Ken Chanel. It's oh God, what's his name? Bernal, the CEO of LV, the head of the LVMH. I can't think of his name, but he went to every department head, gone down, went down, went down, went down
Mhm.
to see what's going on, what's really happening. He wanted them to be heard.
Mhm.
That was huge.
That is huge. So, any last final thoughts? Anything I missed?
Um, my whole mission is about finding your inner warrior, right? What I ask anyone, and every time I speak, is find your inner warrior, find your strength, find your purpose, find your passion. Doesn't matter if you have a hiccup, if you have something that's going on, if you have a health journey, a psychological journey, a financial journey, or whatever, find your inner warrior.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bershan. Oh, and how can people find out more about you? We'll put those in the show notes as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Everything, LinkedIn, everything is Bershan Shaw, Bershan. So it's LinkedIn, it's Instagram, it's everything. And my website is bershan.com and warriortraininginternational.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a great interview.